Hello again and welcome back to my channel. Well, today I've decided I'm going to do a Potjiekos, which is a South African dish cooked in a cast iron three-legged pot such as this one. A solid pot. I'm going to cook the stuff on the fire. So, these are all my ingredients basically that I'm going to put in there. I've got chicken drumsticks, chicken wings, some fresh green beans, which someone grew on their allotment. They gave those to me. Tomatoes, onion. First you normally cook the onion, brown that, cook the meat and brown that, and then you layer up the vegetables on top. You do not stir the pot, you leave them to cook. Some spices, chicken seasoning, cloves, bay leaves, Moroccan seasoning, bit of curry powder, salt and pepper. I've got half a butternut there, sweet potato, chorizo. So this is going to be a chicken and chorizo dish, and fresh potatoes, which I just dug out of the garden this morning. Those will go on top to layer it up and to sort of trap in all the steam. The trick is to keep the moisture in there and to just have a low heat and cook it over 3 or 4 hours. And I'll probably just add a bit of beer to give it some flavor as well. So those are my basic ingredients. When I'm going to be doing the cooking and putting the stuff in the pot, I'll do the second part of this video just to show you what it's looking like, and then maybe when it's cooked I'll do a bit more footage and let you know how the stuff tastes. I have tried it out using a little camping gas burner and it worked okay, but I couldn't get the flame down low enough, so the stuff that was on the bottom, the chicken that I had in the bottom, did slightly burn in there, but otherwise it was really tasty. And the more you use these pots, the more flavor you get out of them apparently. So anyway, those are all my ingredients, and I will do the next part of the video when I've got the fire started and get the pot on there and start cooking the stuff. Hi there, I'm back again. This time doing my Potjiekos, or little pot food, if you translate that directly. Cast iron pot on the fire, and we're going to start cooking our meal in there. And you'll see what a South African Potjiekos is like. First of all, you've got to get an even sort of heat there. So just using charcoal for this, it doesn't matter what you use, wood, charcoal, whatever, because the food's inside the pot. So first, I'm going to chuck the onions in there. We've put a bit of cooking oil in there and brown the onions. Once those are browned, I'll add my meat, and then on top of that I'll then layer the vegetables. You do not stir the food after that. You leave it to cook in layers, because then the flavor goes throughout the food, and yet each individual part of the food has its own flavor, its own unique flavor. So just browning the onions now that the fire is hot enough, and once they are done, then we'll put, I've got the meat here that I'm going to put in is chicken. Basically I've added all my spices in there already, and chorizo. Added a bit of chorizo sausage, some chicken wings, some chicken drumsticks. The reason I'm using drumsticks and wings, you get the extra flavor that cooks out of the bones of the chicken. That gives you extra flavor, because we're going to be cooking this probably for the next 3 hours or so. This is the first time I'm using this pot on the fire, so it's a bit of trial and error. So we're just going to see as we go. I shall do a bit more footage in a short while. Okay, back again. Just had to cheat a bit and put a couple of fire lighters under there just to get an initial high heat to brown the onions and the meat. So Let's see how we're doing now. They're starting to sort of burn down a bit now. Yeah, that's looking good. Onions are now browning nicely. Now it's time to add the meat into this lot. All our chicken and chorizo and all the spices, cloves, etc., bay leaves. I don't know how much space I'm going to have for the vegetables actually. It's more meat than I thought. Get all them spices in there. Right, now we're cooking. At this stage you can stir the food around just to get it to brown nicely. Once that's all nicely browned, I'll start adding a little bit of water. The secret is to keep enough liquid in there so it doesn't dry out. But yeah, just keep moving it around, brown the stuff nicely. We'll get there eventually. As I say, it's the first time I'm using this on the fire. I've never tried this before. Did cook the other night with it on gas, it worked okay. But the flame was a little bit too hot. So I'm going to just leave that in there to brown while the motorbikes all zoom past on the main road. That's the only disadvantage of doing any sort of barbecuing in my garden. I'm right next to the main road. So I shall be back in a little while and I'll be adding the other ingredients once the meat has browned. Okay, back again with the Potjiekos. Just waiting for the meat to brown basically. Take the lid off and see how we're doing. Yep, that's coming along nicely. Oh, it smells great. All those spices. You can basically put anything in this, any type of meat, whatever you fancy, any type of vegetables. There's no set recipe or anything like that. That's looking great. We're just about ready to add the vegetables next. That meat is now starting to brown nicely there. Hopefully you can see it from that angle. It's a bit awkward with this chest strap on to get the camera at the right angle. Luckily we had some dry weather today, nice sunshine at the moment. So beautiful day. A nice autumn day. I had to get to test this out before the winter kicks in. And even if we get dry days in the winter, I may still use it outside on the fire. Today will tell how well it works. Once that fire dies down now, I did put some more fire lighters on there and a bit more charcoal. But once we get that grey charcoal burning in there, then it should be good to go. You know, then you just want that slow heat so that things don't stick on the bottom of the pot and burn. And you just leave it to simmer for a few hours. I've got my stock that I'm going to add next. Just a couple of chicken stock cubes with hot water. That's going in the pot next. Just remove the lid. That goes in there. That's looking good. Now for the last time we stir this all around, make sure there's nothing stuck on the bottom of the pot. I'm just hoping that the camera is lined up for you to see this. But that looks good, that smells nice. That is going to be tasty. I've still got more ingredients to add on top of that in a bit, which I'll have to fetch from the kitchen. I did chop up the fresh potatoes that I dug out of the garden this morning, and I've got green beans. I did pick a few from the garden to add with the beans that someone gave me, some tomatoes. I didn't put the butternut in there because there's not going to be enough space basically. There was more meat there than what I thought. So yeah, just in case you didn't see that, see if I can line the camera up there. So that's just cooking nice and slow now. And I'll just keep feeding a bit of charcoal, a few pieces at a time, just to keep that burning at an even temperature. So I'll be back when I'm adding the other ingredients to do the final part of the cooking, to show you how that's done. Right, here we are. Basically got all my other ingredients to put in the pot. So this will be the final part of the video before the stuff is cooked. I'll come back in a few hours time to show you once the stuff is fully cooked, etc. That's looking good. I need to add maybe a little bit more liquid. Some people put wine in there and have any in stock at the moment, but maybe a bit of beer will go in there to top up the liquid in a while. So next I'm going to put in the beans and the tomatoes. That will give it extra flavour again. So that will be the next layer, like on top of the meat. So from here on out, no more stirring. The stuff just goes straight in the pot. Some pieces trying to jump out of the pot. Back in they go. Just level that all out. Okay, then next, my sweet potato. I don't know if I'm going to have enough space for all this. It's going to be a bit of a tight fit, I think. We'll see. It's a good test for my new pot. See how it works. That bit doesn't look too good. I'll give that piece in this. That's the sweet potato on top. And potatoes last but not least. See if we can get them to fit in there. These are the fresh potatoes. Get the camera a bit up. Which I dug out of the garden this morning, which you may have seen in one of my other videos on my channel. It's going to be a tight squeeze, this. Fit all this in the pot. Wow, it's a good job I didn't do the butternut as well. This will easily feed 4 people, I reckon, a pot like this, so we're probably going to have a bit left over. Always nice to heat up the next day as well. That is a tight fit. Hopefully I'll be able to get the lid on there. Squeeze them in. The stuff will shrink down a bit once it starts cooking as well. There we go. And then I'm just going to add a bit of water to that. You always got to make sure there's enough liquid in there, and you just want to check now and again to make sure it's just bubbling away nicely. So just squeeze that lid on there. You need to put something on top of that to weigh it down a bit. But that's looking good. So I'll be back in about 3 hours time once this lot is cooked. I'll just be adding a little bit of charcoal now and again just to keep that heat going. So I hope that you've enjoyed the video thus far, and I'll do the final part once the stuff is cooked. Right, here we are. The Potjiekos is now done. Just taking it off the fire. That's sort of cooked for about 3 hours on there. It's looking really good. Did put a little bit too much liquid in there, but just put a little bit of gravy granules in the top, and that's thickened it up a bit. So let's have a look what it's like. See if we can dig down through the layers here now. It is a bit like a stew, really, to be honest, except you don't mix the stuff up while you're cooking it. Just see if we can dig out some of the chicken there. That's looking really tender, it's falling off the bone there. So that basically is your Potjiekos. It is smelling really fantastic as I'm dishing this up here. Just dig some of this out. Vegetables. And the chicken, wow, it's all just pretty much falling off the bone, as you can see there. Having a bit of a problem to get it. The bone actually just fell off the meat there. That is how tender this stuff is. So yeah, you can use any ingredients in this: beef, chicken, lamb, whatever. It looks like it worked really well. So it was well worth the effort. So there we go. That chicken looks really tender. Looking good. I'm really pleased with that. This pot is working well. So I'm going to dish up, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this meal. Haven't had proper Potjiekos. That's been cooked on a fire for a long time. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because time to eat now and enjoy. Hope that you've enjoyed this video, and yeah, you know, if you get a chance, try it out. You can get these from Viking Warehouse, and they're quite cheap. They're about 18 quid, 6 quid postage. This is a size 3, which will probably feed a family of 4. You know, it makes a fair bit. So just in case you want to try it out, yeah, go for it. Anyway, that's the Potjiekos. Hope that you enjoyed the video, and we'll do some more videos sometime soon. Until then, stay safe and well, and we're gonna really enjoy this meal. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.